Hi, my name is Mandy Cheromiah. This is my experience with the alternative spring break trip that was hosted by Native American Student Affairs and Asian Pacific Student Affairs. Before going on the trip, my expectations of the program were pretty simple. One, I wanted to meet more Native students, and going on the trip would give me that opportunity to network and get to know more of our undergraduates here at the U of A. And secondly, I wanted to learn more about the Hawaiian culture. The first time I went to Hawaii was because my mom ran the Honolulu Marathon, and it was a family trip, and we did a couple of tourist things, but we mainly just ventured out, and we didn't really go to any museums or learn much of the culture. So this time around, I was excited to learn more about the Hawaiian culture. The third part too was that I am a photographer, and my goal was to photograph the experience of our students and the students at USC to showcase what the service learning projects were and show that through photography. My experience on the alternative spring break trip can be boiled down into three things. The first thing is that in taking photos of the students and of the experience, the thing that stuck out to me the most was learning the Hawaiian culture. We went to different places on the island that showcased who the people are, who the community, what the community looks like, the value systems, learning about the different stories and songs, and even hearing the language. Really showed me that the Native Hawaiians have a rich culture and are very similar to the tribes here on the mainland. The most compelling part to me was hearing the Native Hawaiians sing. I think that hearing their voice and hearing their language, that was that hit my heart the most, because it just reminded me of just hearing songs from here. The most meaningful part to me was going to the most western part of the island, and we had a hike that occurred in the morning time. We had to get there super early. I was pretty tired, but it was definitely worthwhile because the scenery was gorgeous, and we took a hike to the end point, and one of our facilitators there shared more about the meaning of that place, and we were able to just explore and take time to really take in everything that was happening. Another meaningful experience was going to the immersion school. And we were able to interact with the young students that were there. The exciting part for me was working with just saying hi to the kindergartners and the first graders, third graders, and fourth graders, because they were so intrigued with us about where we were from, and I was just as intrigued by them and their story, because they were speaking their language from a young age. And it was fun going into the kindergarten class, because I described to them that I was from Arizona, but they didn't really have a grasp of where that was. And one of the students asked me, "Oh, is it by Disneyland?" And I just had to laugh. I'm like, "Well, kind of. If you go more east, you'll hit Arizona eventually." I actually took photos that I have captured here in Arizona. So I took a picture of a sunset. I printed out about 50 of them, and I took another picture from here at the university that is meaningful to me, that shows community. And so I just printed out 4x6 photos, and I had the ability or the opportunity to hand them out to the students. And it was really beneficial for the young students, because they were able to see where we are from, and show them what a cactus looks like and the sunsets, and it's just a different kind of beauty. And they were just as intrigued with the desert as I was with their Hawaiian island. And so that was a really precious time to me, because one of the young students came up to me and she was like, "Auntie, can I keep this?" And she made me smile, because within the culture, auntie and uncle are a form of just respect to somebody who's older. And so she called me that, and I just smiled. I was just so happy to be there and honored to be among her community. Another meaningful experience was for me just shooting photos of the different and capturing our students engaging with community leaders and with different environments, and that was the highlight for me. And so I have, gosh, over 2,000 photos, I think, and I've tried to go through most of them and edit them, but there's a lot of meaningful photos that showcase the stories that were happening at that time. So I think that's also really important, because now the staff has some photos to use for future recruitment opportunities, and our students will be able to reflect back and always remember their experience in Hawaii. Lastly, I do recommend students participating in alternative spring break trip, because one, you get to learn about a different culture outside of your own, and two, you get to interact with different peers that are from the university campus. And I think that was probably most meaningful for me, because I was able to get to know more of our native students, and that was really fun. I enjoyed hearing their stories and hearing about why they wanted to go on the spring break trip. And lastly, going on the trip was fun. We were able to go out in the evenings and explore Waikiki and have dinner with one another, go to the beach. There was a lot to do on the island, and so we were able to explore and experience some of that. So all in all, I do hope that other students from the University of Arizona participate in alternative spring break trips, because you do learn a lot, and you make these really awesome connections with your peers.